And that glad to have some of the men of the community joining us today. Today we are going to have a session where Aude and Hafsat has decided to share with you some of the things that are very close to their heart for the Women in Africa initiative, but also to address their best wishes for 2022. Definitely, the session will reflect on the Women in Africa initiative. This is a baby that is 5 years old, and since the inception, all the accomplishment, the exciting 2021 year, and the challenges, the opportunities also as well, and definitely we'll look at the future of women in Africa. So again, thank you for joining us today. And if you want to get connected to the Women in Africa community, please do look in the chat. Eloise will share some information, the social networks, but also the link of the website where you will get all the information and the updates of the Women in Africa. And definitely we want to have a very interactive session. So feel free to raise your question in the chat. Do not forget to mention where you are joining us from. We had like to know if you are from, you are based in any country in Africa or in Europe or any else in the world. So today we will start our session. And this session will also, we will talk about the Women in Africa initiative. I cannot, Eloise, I cannot share the PowerPoint, so I cannot display our speakers' bio. If you can just give me the access, that is great. Okay, I think everyone can see my screen. So my name is Reine Mbang. I am Reine Mbang Essobmadje. I am the Women in Africa Ambassador for Cameroon. And I will definitely start by wishing you a very bright 2021. Like I said earlier, today we are having Aude Thuin. If I can, in 3 words, say something that will describe Aude, because her CV is like so long that we can, spend a whole session to talk about all her accomplishments. But Aude is a serial entrepreneur. She's a woman advocate. And I found something that is a little bit comic, but Aude is like the marvel of women. She has been advocating and fighting for women rights, women leadership, women promotion since, I don't know, so many times. So if you would like to know more about Aude, everything is displayed, but Aude is also the Women in Africa founder, and she has been, the nerd behind the Women's Forum in Deauville that is well known from the French people and also from the Western community. But then Aude came up with this project of Women in Africa. So Aude, can you tell us a little bit more about your passion for women, but also this passion for Africa, like when people look at you, they don't feel like, okay, this woman is really in love, in passion with Africa. How everything started?
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. First, it's important for us. My English is not very good, and if I have a problem, sorry for that. And Reine and Hafsat, help me if you don't understand me. Okay. So, I'm very interested by the problem of women in the world because this is a personal story. I have 5 sisters. I'm born in Brittany, in France, and when my mother have a new girl, she's very desperate, and she presented with my father. She said, "I'm sorry, because this is a new girl." And when I began to understand that, I'm very angry, you can imagine, because I'm angry because it is normal to don't be happy to have a girl, you know. And so I remember this story all my life, and long time after, and I observe the life and the situation of women because I'm very interested by that. And I observe time to time, often, the difficulty of a lot of women, you know, to have the same position as men, to exerce a different job. The women don't have the same position, the same, comment on dit salaire, the same money at the end.
Salary, the same salary.
Yeah. And when I have 50, yes, 50, I want to go to Davos, the World Economic Forum, you know, in Switzerland, and they refused my candidature because I was a woman. And I observe more, and I read in the French press, but not only in French press, I read the forum is, Davos is destined to the people to think the world. And I observed a number of women, and in this time, it's 25 now, there is 400 of women in Davos. And, you know, as I told you, I am from Brittany, I have a little character, n'est-ce pas, Hafsat? And I decided, I'm an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, and I decided to sold my other company and with this money to create the Women's Forum, because I consider it impossible to think the future with women. 4% of women in Davos. It's not normal. And this is my first big creation to help and to not to support, to you know, it's simply just to hear the women and to try to build the world with women. And so after that, after the Women's Forum, I have a lot of African women. I met a lot of African women in the Women's Forum, and after a few years, a group of women, African women, said to me, Aude, we want to, we need you. We need you for 3 reasons. First, it's because your engagement for the women, it's intact, and we need we want to work with you for that. The second reason is it's your job to make forum and big meeting with worldwide people. And the third reason is because you are crazy. and probably it's for 3 reasons I decided one day, after a bad period for me, because I have a, comment on dit un échec?
Failure.
A failure.
Failure. And this is a very bad period for me. And I reconsider my life. And I decided to go to Africa. And when I come back to Paris, I decided to create Women in Africa. And so this is the beginning of the story of Women in Africa.
That is great. Thank you very much for sharing the fact that sometimes big successes are coming from big failures as well. This is a message of encouragement for the women. Now, let's move to our second speaker, Hafsat. So Hafsat, in few words, she is an activist, a philanthropist, a trailblazer, but you know, she is the kind of person who is always advocating for human rights. I think it's something that is probably embedded in her DNA. And lately, she decided at the early beginning of the Women in Africa to join this movement as the Women in Africa president. And Hafsat, I know that you dare to make impact. And can you please tell us a little bit more about your motivation for joining Women in Africa, and also what kind of impact you are expecting to make with this initiative.
So thank you very much, dear Reine. Thank you, Aude, and all the people who have joined in from all over Africa. And I see even some people have joined in from Europe. It's such a pleasure to spend the beginning of the year. And even some people joined in from the US, actually. This is so awesome. So, you know, we're having a conversation, and thank you for that question, Reine, because I want to situate my commitment. When I was very young, I think I was about 8 years old, I found out about slavery. And I have to tell you that that discovery changed my life. I was so angry. I think maybe 7 or 8. I felt myself grow very hot. And I couldn't understand what my grandmother had been doing, because my grandmother at the time was the oldest person in my life. And I thought to myself, what was she doing at this moment? Because I didn't understand that the slavery was even before my grandmother. I couldn't imagine a time before my grandmother. And I thought, was she just sitting around looking, you know, and doing nothing? And, you know, fast forward many years, I was born into a family of entrepreneurs. Both my parents were entrepreneurs. And my father went into politics in my country to try to solve the problem of poverty by serving as president. But he was elected. Unfortunately, he couldn't serve because of the army at the time. And both my parents lost their lives in the course of that movement. But before my mom was killed by the army, she had sold all her businesses. She had bought all this land, built all these businesses, and she had sold it to help my country's pro-democracy movement, to finance it. And it was actually the strength of the movement that caused the army to kill her. Now, when we continued the movement after she died, and even after my father died, and we finally had the military return to the barracks in my country. And at this point, I'm 22 years old, and I go back to Nigeria with my siblings. Now there are no parents. All our finances, I mean, we were one of the wealthiest families in the country, and probably one of the wealthiest on the continent. Now we were down to nothing because the military and the government had been fighting in every way, including shutting down businesses and everything. So we went back to Nigeria, we had to rebuild. So one of my brothers applied to run a petroleum dealership, I think it's the largest city in Africa, Lagos. So he wanted to run the largest dealership in the largest city in the continent. And they looked at his application, and he's young. He was, as I said, I was 22. He's a year younger, I was 21. And they looked at the application then, and there's not a lot. I mean, he had graduated very well from New York University and all of that, but how much experience can you have at that young age? Then the people making the decision said, but his mother ran the most successful dealership we ever had. Do you know that on the basis of this, my brother was given that opportunity, and it's an opportunity that he still has today, and they've added on to that, just on the basis of the accomplishment of one woman entrepreneur that happened to be my mom. So I really believe in the impact that women entrepreneurs can have, because I've seen it in my own life. Because my mom helped to finance the movement for democracy in my country, but she even helped to create a legacy that her children could build on to secure the financial ability to build their own lives. So for me, I've always been committed to women. And when I met with Aude, you know, before I was working mainly on promoting women's participation in leadership at a political level. Then I met with Aude, and she said, you know, really, Hafsat, the transformation will come from the economy. That as soon as women gain ground in the economy, they will gain ground in every dimension. And that really shifted my perspective. And since that time, I've been working with women in Africa to look for how women can gain ground in the economy. You know, look at you, Reine. You run a business in Cameroon. You have offices in France and in Germany. You are on the leading platforms in the world at the European Commission, in France, whenever they do any business forum on digital, they look for you. You've built something that is very strong, that you're hiring dozens of people. You are now the first woman to be elected to your position in the Association of Businesses in Cameroon. That's what we want across Africa. We want African women not just to be individually successful as you are, but also to be making an impact in the whole domain of the economy, as you are able to do now through your leadership in the Business Council of Cameroon. And I think that it is in that way that African women will transform the continent of Africa. And the challenge we have is to put in place the tools to enable them to achieve this kind of success.
Wow, amazing. Really, I think that from those two short talks from our speakers, you can, feel this, the energy, the passion, and also the commitment that the women in Africa, both the president and the funder, and all, the team working around and behind, and also the ambassador have. And really, you can also get a sense that the power of this community is also the sorority, and the support women can give to each other. And if we come back to the WIA initiative, which is actually the power of the WIA community, just to give you a few words of what WIA has achieved until today. WIA has supported almost 800 women entrepreneurs. WIA is a community of, 140,000 people, and WIA has trained 200 girls in coding. And also WIA is, a relevant number of valued and very top and important partners such as Société Générale, AXA, Roland Berger, Clifford Chance, BPI France, TV5 Monde for the media part, Inetum, which is a consulting firm, and also Lazare and Atos, also a digital company. So we'll come back to WIA partners later on, but having give those numbers, can we, just look a little bit closer to the achievement and closer to what has been done in 2021? All of us can remind, when the COVID virus came into our life in 2020, how it has been challenging and also changed the way we are interacting with each other. But despite everything and despite this situation, it seems that WIA has, increased the number and also the type of program, growing in number, growing in impact and in outreach. So Hafsat, can you please tell us a little bit more about, how you managed to run as the president, the Women in Africa Initiative? I know that, there are so many women president by now, but you were one of the first of them, and how you have been, able to extend the Women in Africa outreach, and also, was it, like a kind of time for innovation, reinvention for the movement?
So let me just say that a key part, one of the first key things had to do with Aude. One of our big signature programs at WIA is WIA 54, where we take one woman entrepreneur per African country and we train her. In the course of a year, we give training so that she can better manage her business, because having good business ideas and successfully managing your business are two very different things. You need certain capacities and competencies. And we've been able to form a partnership with Honores United Universities. They sponsor us a program where we can do training, we can do a needs assessment for women entrepreneurs and really give them the training that targets their area of need. We also have with Deloitte a mentoring program where we can mentor women, we pair them with established women and men, and run a program that runs for a whole year. So we have all these programs and opportunities for women to make sure that they have what they need, and even including access to financing, which we've been doing informally for a few years. But when COVID hit, normally we would convene about 1,000 of us in Marrakesh, in Morocco, and under the auspices, under the support of the high patronage of the King of Morocco. But with COVID, we couldn't gather, and we were at a loss. So at this point, we are always tapping Aude's network because she has an incredible network. And Aude got in touch with the top people at TV5 Monde, a major television station in France. And she sold the idea of them running a program to promote and highlight, to celebrate African women entrepreneurs. So if we can't gather in Morocco to welcome them and showcase the talent on the continent, then we can at least use television and we reach more people. So actually the TV5 Monde program went to at least 50 million households all over Africa and even beyond, where we were able to showcase some of the leading innovators in the world of women's entrepreneurship in Africa. That was one of the big achievements. But the second one was also webinars. If we can't gather physically, let's gather virtually. So we were gathering, we had 65 webinars since 2020.
Sorry, 68.
68. 68, where we've been talking about different topics, and we've given our partners, and even beyond our partners, other major companies, the opportunity to show us how women can take the lead on sustainability. What are the leading technologies now on delivering water to in agriculture, all kinds of things that would allow our women to be at the forefront, because we want these women to succeed on the strength of their knowledge and their competencies. So we were running all these webinars, and we've been lucky that we've been able to sign on World Health Organization as one of the partners for promoting women in health. And we're just pulling in more and more partners. Now, at the end of last year was just now we just kind of blew everything out of the, like if we think we've been doing well before, by the end of last year, we just blew everything out of the ballpark. And it was thanks to a young man who runs WIA's search for partners. He's young, he's French. I don't know if, he celebrated his 30th birthday, I think, last year. So you can see how young he is. Geoffrey Chapuis, incredible. He's always on the phone, making cold calls to all kinds of companies all over the world. And Ren, last year, he made a call to one of the biggest companies in the world. I think it will be in the top 10. And somehow they bought into what the idea he sold them, which was the idea that we've been pushing at WIA for ages, for months, but we actually, even over 2 years, we've been pushing this idea. And the idea is simply this: we cannot be reaching a handful of women in Africa and expect to have impact in Africa. The continent has 1.3 billion people, 54 countries. We need to reach those women at the level at which they exist. So we've now gotten a partner that will be announced, I think, on Thursday, that is supporting us to reach and train 30,000 women in the next 3 years. So at the end of last year, Caroline Boudegu, who is our managing director, helped us develop all our vision, all our ideas into a strategic plan. And the plan said by 2030, we will reach 10,000 women. By 2022, Ren, we will have hit that target. So actually, Caroline is back to the drawing board now to come up with a more ambitious target for us. And I have to say that when I think of the women across the continent of Africa, and I see so many on the chat today from all over the continent, working hard, putting in sacrifices, not accompanied because they're hindered by prejudice, they're hindered by lack of the proper laws and financial instruments that would support them. I am so impatient for WIA to grow. And so I'm so excited about this new phase, and also really happy because when Aude created WIA, it was 5 years ago now. Some people said to her that she was crazy, and not in a good way, not the way the African women said to her, we want you to launch this because you're crazy, which is kind of like you can take risks, They said it to her in a very negative way, like, what do you think you're doing in Africa? What good can come out of there? And I want to show these people what good comes out of Africa.
Oh, that is amazing. So dream big and walk the talk. right? And make sure you have Aude by your side, because she got the network, the connection, the idea, and you know, she can feel, I think it was written on her bio also, you know, she can feel the trends, and especially the trends for women. I know that Aude, you have come up with so many programs for women in Africa, and there is a particular program, the Women in Africa Young Leaders, that is coming from, you know, a very strange story. Can you share a little bit more about that program? I know it's very close to your heart.
Yes, yes, it's funny story. 2 years ago, the group LVMH, you know, Dior, Vuitton, and they want to join us, but they asked me to imagine a special program for them, and so one day I said to my friend in the LVMH group, I have a dream for in a few years. My dream is to have women as president of the country, African country. And he said to me, it's a good idea, this is a young leader. And I said, yes, okay, I create a young leader program, just because I have an idea, a dream to have, and not only in Africa, you know, but around the world. For example, in France now, we prepare the next election, and we have a women candidate, and it's necessary to have more women, you know, at the high level, the best position around the world, like Angela Merkel, for example. And we need to have that. And so to create a type of program, we need money. And LVMH said, we are not very too much, comment on dit, installé,
established
in Africa, but the creator of Dior love Africa, and I asked them if the brand Dior is ready to join women in Africa. And Gracia, well, I just forget the name, sorry. And she said, yes, it's a good idea. And after that, the bank, Lazare Bank, it's a very big bank in France and around the world, particularly in USA too. And they want to join us in a special program too. And I propose to join us also in this program, Young Leader. And so we, by the social media, we send, you know, we send an annonce to reach, to identify the young leader, and we receive, you can imagine, we receive more 2,000 candidature file, and we are totally surprised by that. Because, you know, we decide with a group of jury, of member jury from around the world, men and women in equality, men, women, it's very important, from around the world. And we choose to keep just 5 women, you can imagine. And I'm very triste, sad, you know, because it's for that it's impossible for me to be in a jury, because I choose all women, you know, and because we receive a lot of beautiful candidature, but this is our position, and you know why? It's because when we create the new type of project, we establish comment on dit des règles, we establish
some rules.
Yes, and we need to have people in our team, you know, to work in this type of project. And we choose 5 women, just 5 women, and now with we have in this group of women, we have 100 women. They are the top level you can imagine. And I have a new hungry. And when I am hungry, I create, you know, this is my, it's my life. And we began to work with a big international consulting group. We work now in the possibility to form the African women to be a member of the board for the international country, because I don't support, it's not normal, you know, to observe the international group without African women. They work in Africa, they work around the world, and it's not normal, you know, it's not the real life. And with other women we have as a young leader, we work around this idea to form this women as to begin a member of the board. You know, say every time I'm at job, because I have an incredible team around me, incredible short team, but very efficient, you know. And so my role now is to have idea, and of course when we have and when I have an idea, it's absolutely necessary to have money to pay that, you know. And so if we consider with the group, with my team, if we consider this is a good idea for the African women, okay, we said go. And so it's like that. We work like, you know, we are, so it is we are a startup, but we have a worldwide startup.
Wow.
Sorry for my English. You understand me?
Yes, a startup which is a network of a worldwide, an ecosystem of so many startups and making so much impact, I think. Is that is great. I think that, you know, from my short experience in life, succeeding people have this ability, this skill to choose the right people to work with them. And this is probably something that Aude can also teach us, you know, because sometimes you have so many great ideas, but, you know, no one there to execute or to, you know, to maintain the fire for, and you know, this willing to achieve everything. So for the ladies who apply to the Women in Africa Young Leaders, I know that Aude said that only 5 out of more than 2,000 application has been, you know, selected. But just to let you know that she has think about another program to make you board members. So don't think that your application was thrown in the garbage, not at all. It has been kept safely, and you know, you can have another opportunity. So back in 2021, WIA has done so many things. We have focused indeed in women in the WIA Young Leaders, but also there is the WIA 54. If you can just maybe, ladies, in 1 minute talk about that, because also there has been an increase in the number of WIA 54 per country.
Yes, so thank you, Ren. You know, normally we were taking just one per country. And, you know, we kept pushing the team because we were getting about 4,000 applications, and choosing just 54, one per country, just seemed really wrong. So we were pushing and pushing to see how can we support more. And Caroline, MD, and the person that drives our strategy work came up with the idea that we could expand to 10 per country, so we could immediately reach 540, which is what we did last year, and for which we were all of us were so proud. We could reach 540, which meant increasing the mentors, the community of mentors, by a factor of 10. We pulled in companies like Google and other major established companies to give us the people on their team in their companies who are passionate about African women, who could serve as mentors. And we pulled more of our partners and pushed them to come up with how to support us to make this expansion real. And we were so proud of ourselves until we came to the end of the year. And through the breakthrough that I mentioned, we now are looking at supporting 7,000 women in 10 countries. And I am so proud I could cry. We are going to be supporting women in Morocco. We're going to, I think in 2 countries in North Africa, it's Morocco and I think Egypt, in Kenya, and another country in East Africa. I don't want to mention the wrong one, but I'm going to ask our team to list the 10 in the chat. So you see, South Africa is one. I want to say Cameroon, I think.
Yes, definitely. Cameroon is also, is always
Cameroon
in
is
there.
one, Senegal is one, Nigeria is one. You know, I mean, it's just, I am so happy. I am so, Namibia, I don't know if Namibia is one of these 10, my sister Diana, but you know, we're pulling. Let me just tell you that with that breakthrough that we had at the end of the year of 2021, which was to be able to expand in a way, what I call the democratization of our work, to be able to reach more women, thousands of women seems so much more appropriate. Egypt is one, Rania, you know, to seem so much more appropriate for a continent our size. Although, you know, Ren, if we're very frank, the minimum we should be doing is 1 million. You know that, right? When you think that the continent is 1.3 billion and that the women are 650 million plus or minus a few, then you know that the minimum we should be reaching is 1 million to be comfortable in our own skin. So that means we have to work more to pull partners. And just before we started the webinar, Aude was checking with me because she knew I'd gone to the United States for to enter into the new year. And she was checking with me that I got some work done for WIA. And I assured her that we're already on the way to securing more powerful partners in the United States. I mean, this year, 2022, the focus really will be to really, and to make sure it happens that we make the current partners very proud. That's Africa Development Bank. That's the company, that one of the biggest in the world, that will announce its partnership in just a matter of days. I don't want to announce it for them. So on Thursday, they'll make their big announcement of this 7,000 per year. And over 3 years, they're targeting 20,000 women. And they also involve, including supporting us to create hubs. When I think, you know, that we will have a physical space in Cameroon, in Nigeria, in Egypt, in Kenya, in South Africa, in Senegal, in Morocco, where women will go, women entrepreneurs will come, where they will access shared services of legal training, all kinds of services to make them gangster entrepreneurs. I just can't believe that we've done that. But but then when I think about that, and I think we've done that for 10 countries, I just think we have to do it for 44 more. And after a while, we have to do more than one per country. The future is so beautiful.
Wow. I told you at the beginning, those are like, the woman super marvel, they can do amazing things. But let me just, before we get into the future a little bit deeper, take a few questions from the audience. Leila, and I'll just give you all the questions, and then, just feel free to answer which one you think. Leila wants to know how an organization can become a partner of WIA. And Sarah would like to know if there are any programs that are targeting women in politics. So maybe for partnering, Aude will answer, and also for women in politics, because Hafsat has a long history with politics in Africa. Maybe she can answer. Are there any programs that are targeting women in politics?
We don't really work on politics because our real focus, as I was explaining in the beginning, our real focus is to empower women in the economy. And that in itself will begin to reshape society and reshape politics. And we want to focus on that. In the area of politics that we might work is around policies, the policies that will help women entrepreneurs win. And there we are very interested. And we do studies with Roland Berger, which is one of the premier consulting companies in the world, to identify the bottlenecks that women entrepreneurs face and share that information with political leaders across the continent.
Okay, great. So how to become a partner, Aude? Maybe you like to...
C'est comment devenir partenaire.
Oui, oui, c'est ça exactement. Oui, oui.
Il faut... sorry. To become partners,
it seems that Aude is having a little... yeah, she's back. Yes.
Okay, it's okay.
Yes, it's okay now.
We share with our partners, we share the same value. And we work a long time before to sign the contract, you know. We work with a team. We work with presidents of the general direction of the company. We want to be sure, you know, to share the value, to share the same vision for the future, and as
okay, it seems that Aude is having just a little bandwidth problem, connectivity problem.
Sorry, I am in Morocco. I am in Morocco. Perhaps it's for that. I don't know. It's okay now.
Yeah, it's okay now.
Okay. Yeah. The first is to the partners, as we they have the same point of view of us, and we have different programs. For example, we are 54, or we are Young Leader, or we are Code, or you know, different program, and depends of the company, depends of the activity of the company, you know, and the company choose in the different program, and we have. The company, for example, French company Orange, very well known. Orange, it's a
telecommunication operators
company, and Orange, it's a global partners. You know, they cover all of activity because they are very implanted on the present. It's a different country. A lot of countries in Africa, and they want to join us at the beginning, and after that, if we have a demand, if it's necessary, we create together a project. But to be totally transparent, my team often refuse if I said I have an idea. Because they said, stop, you know. So we have a lot of job, and particularly at the end of the last year, because we have new partners, and it's very important, you know, to work with them. But if the companies follow us now, if it's easy to keep contact with us, with me, with Hafsat, and particularly if you speak English, because with me, not good for you. And we study your case, and you find an idea for you.
That is great.
It's like that, from particularly in USA, because a lot of company from USA want to work in Africa, or they work since a long time now, and you know, the time of women is ready. It's now, and for that, a lot of companies observe women in Africa, and they follow us, and they then they observe our comment on dit, façon de travailler.
The way of working.
Yes, methodology. They want to join us because they consider we are very serious, you know, and we laugh a lot too, because it's important, you know, and particularly in this period with COVID and pandemic, it's not easy, and particularly for women, it's a very bad period. But a lot of company, they have the same feeling as you know, and they feel this is a time for women now. This is a time for create company with and to observe the creation by women. This is the time to have women at the high level position in the company, you know, because if they are not, they have a lot of difficulty, you know. For example, in the big invest group, American investing group, now they comment dire, exiger. They
request. They request.
They request that the company have more women in the governance, you know. And for that, this is a time of women. We have a lot of chance now, and our role is to define our life, you know. And the women are very convinced. And I observe, since I work with women for a long time, I observe a big, big difference. And I very conscious it's not easy in the different countries, it's not easy for the women, but this is a situation to push, you know, the women. And a lot of companies want to follow and help women, not by the charity. I don't like charity, you know. I don't like to have an evolution of society. No, not economy, you know, to have more women here, because we have the same brain as men, you know. And if we have a lot of women here, that change society. And this is my strong conviction.
Okay, our speakers are so inspiring, but I think we have to keep time, and by now it will only be 30 seconds if we want to address, you know, everything that we have in our program. So maybe two last questions: how to become a Women in Africa ambassador? Let me take this opportunity to say hi to all the ambassadors that are connected. Really, sisters, thank you. And also all the women from the World Federation of African Engineering Organization, and also the Worldwide Federation of Engineering Organization that are connected. I think we'll get, you know, a specific talk to talk about women in STEM, women in engineering later on. I see that people are requesting so many talks, and we'll try to focus on that one time. But how do we become a WIA ambassador in 30 seconds?
Oh, well, so Reine is our WIA ambassador for Cameroon, and she's exceptional, an exceptional ambassador. When we look for ambassadors, we're looking for women entrepreneurs who are part of a network of women entrepreneurs who are passionate about championing women. And if that speaks to you, please get in touch with us. My email is actually very easy. It's Hafsat, Hafsat at WIA-initiative.com. Hafsat, oh, I think Eloise will probably put it in the chat. Eloise, please also put Aude's email and put Farida and Lidi's email, so that you also have our assistants' emails, so that you can get in touch with us, because we're always looking. We have ambassadors now in about 50 countries, but I think there's still, some of them are not on the continent of Africa. Like we have an ambassador for Colombia, we have for Switzerland, France, England, the United States. So we're still looking for, there's some countries in Africa for which we do not have ambassadors. For example, Rwanda, we're looking for dynamic women because we're rolling out programs in these countries. I saw that somebody mentioned in your chat that, it looks like we're more Anglophone. Actually, women in Africa has been more Francophone than Anglophone. We're actually just in 2022 going to be balancing more, but a lot of our work has been in Francophone Africa, and it's not going to change because Francophone Africa is as important to us as any other part. Indeed, we're going to, with the program that we're launching with Africa Development Bank, as you know, Africa Development Bank is rolling out 300 million euro of grants, of financing guarantee for women entrepreneurs that is continent-wide. It's called the Affirmative Finance Action for Women in Africa, AFAWA, and it's run by a great team at the bank. And it's our pleasure and our honor at Women in Africa that we're one of the organizations that will be working with them on this rollout. We're going to be on the demand side, training women in 4 African countries, all Francophone Africa, in Central Africa, including Cameroon, Reine, but not just Cameroon. I think it's Cameroon, Gabon, and 2 other Central African countries, Francophone. I think maybe Central African Republic. I don't know. Well, we'll get you the names, but we're going to be training about 9,000 women over 3 years on this, on how to prepare their documents to access financing that that Africa Development Bank is making available for women entrepreneurs. So we don't just work in Anglophone Africa. We are an African organization. We are continent-wide. We run programs in all 54 countries. And that's always been the case. But what is the good news of 2022 is that we're going to be even more implicated, more rooted in the different countries. And we're starting with about 15 or so countries because of the partners that we've been able to secure. But one of the projects that we're still working on would allow us to be continent-wide in all African countries with the largest sum of money that we've ever secured. If we can get it, knock on wood, it will be 3 times what we've raised from what we currently consider to be our largest donor. So really, it would be an even bigger breakthrough. I have a feeling that the next few years for women in Africa is just going to be a series of breakthroughs. And frankly, I think the women in Africa deserve that. They deserve partnership, they deserve respect, and they deserve support. And we have to put it in place. And it's not words, it's actual concrete services and products that serve them. And that's really our goal. So if you want to partner with us, definitely please reach out, because as you see, we're going to be needing more and more partners, frankly.
Okay, I think we're going to move to the last part and skip a little bit about the future. I think that, the speakers today have given some hints about what is coming up, and definitely get in touch with Women in Africa website, the social network, so you get all the announcement in due time. So once Eloise is getting ready to display a very nice video, I would like our speakers to share with us one of their favorite quotes. I mean, there is something that gives you the strength and motivation to tell us in 2 words, just two, your wishes, your best wishes for African women in 2022. And definitely how you see we are in 5 more years. So we have only like 4 minutes for that, so 2 minutes each. I hope it will be enough. So maybe we start with Aude.
Yeah. Okay.
So your favorite quote, I know you have 2, so one in French and one in English. Someone was asking about French speaking, then
I have 2 in English.
Oh, 2 in English, okay. yeah.
The first is from Mandela. He said, "I never lose. Either I win or I learn." He said, "I never lose. Either I win or I learn." He said,
I think we're going to give you the hands, Eloise, later on. So first quote from Mandela, "I never lose, either I win."
Either I win or I learn.
Okay.
It's, I like that. And the second is from Saint-Exupéry. Saint-Exupéry is a French writer, poet and aviator. And he said, "In life, there are no solutions. There are working forces. You must create them and the solutions follow."
Wow.
Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In life, there are no solutions. There are working force. You must create them and the solutions follow.
Great.
And I think it's very interesting for the women, and especially if so, it's for that I choose this sentence for you.
Oh, that is so powerful. So your wishes for women in Africa?
So my two wishes for women in Africa. The first,
I think that was.
Sorry. Aude, allez-y.
My wish is to have more women as the level position, to have more entrepreneurs, to create a big community from around the world, you know, to create a new world, and to observe the change of the world. And the solution is in our hand. And my wish is to tell you, we and you are the chance for the world.
Wow, that is powerful. Powerful. Thank you. Thank you. I think WIA is really the reflection of this powerful coalition and the sorority and support of women, for women, with women, and by women. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Hafsat, so your favorite quote?
My favorite quote. But thank you, Aude, for being who you are. You're really an angel and a great friend of women in Africa. It's really been a pleasure to know you, to work with you over the years, and I look forward to many more years with you and also with the person we don't see behind you, your wonderful husband, Hubert, who's a big supporter of you and this vision. It's really such an honor. And so my favorite quote is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. My favorite story is about an anthropologist who goes to an African village, and he says to the children that he wants them to play a game, and in exchange he would give them, whoever wins, a basket of fruits. And the game was that they should run to the tree, and whoever gets there first is the winner. And the children looked at each other and they held hands and they walked to the tree. So the anthropologist asked them that, why did you do that? They said, how can we be happy? How can one of us be happy when the rest are sad? When I look to the future of women in Africa, I think of the past of the continent of Africa, of 400 years of suffering, of injustice, of crisis that still obtain till today, and the new challenges that we face in terms of climate change, and even the digital opportunity, which so far is a challenge because 500 million people don't even have access to mobile telephony and internet. So there's a real challenge on the continent in terms of shared prosperity. And that's why I really want to work with and promote women. I want us to do something so wonderful that at the end of this century, when Africa's people will be half of the world's population, by the seeds that we plant for them today, they will see such prosperity and broad shared prosperity that the world will look to the continent and understand the true meaning of wealth, not as individual wealth, but the health of community, people's sense of belonging, and just peace and prosperity, the kind that involves clean water, shared opportunities where everybody has a chance to contribute. Africa is the cradle of humanity, and we have the opportunity to create a world that really works for everyone as a model for humanity, for the human family. I want WIA to be at the center of that.
Oh, that is wonderful, and clearly it has been really a pleasure to be with those two speakers, Hafsat, the president, and definitely Aude, the nerd behind this initiative. Thank you, Aude, for creating Women in Africa. Thank you for being such full of energy, of idea, this catalyst of the leadership and the emergence of women in the continent. I really like this video, and I would like us to wrap up with this video, a very nice video from the partnership WIA has done with TV Saint Monde to get more outreach. And from that, we say thank you. Happy New Year. Happy 2022. May your wishes and your dream become true. Please remind yourself to dream big, and the WIA community is there to help help you to grow and to make more impact. Together we are stronger. Thank you, and then the floor is to you, Eloise.
Thanks to you, Reine. Thanks to you. Thanks a lot. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, lady. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us.
Bye.